Hey, welcome. Wholesale Hotties live once again, Thursday night as usual. My name is Sharon Lee Smith. I am your host with the most today. Also joining me is Monique Fell. Hey, Monique. And Kate Gomes. Hi, Kate. How are you? And our guest for tonight is Susie Caspers. Susie, welcome. We're so glad you're here. Tell us all about you.
Thank you, guys. I'm so excited to be here. And about me, I'm from Colorado, and I am a real estate investor in Sub 2 and Gator, and another special little group called Owners Club. And I do a little private money lending and own a few rental properties. And I'm a dentist and own a couple businesses. And let's see, we are now becoming developers in prefab modular construction. So we wholesale and develop there. So a little bit that I do, especially as most of this is over the last year. So yeah, that's about
awesome.
it.
So, okay, let's back up. You're in Gator, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you're lending money through the Gator program? Well, you learned how to lend money through the Gator program, and you're doing loans, personal, private money. I can't talk. It's okay. Private money loans. Tell us a bit about that journey.
Yeah. So that's where we started. We joined Sub 2 and Gator a year and a half ago, a little more, and spent time networking in there and got to know people that really seem to have some experience in it. I think that's an important part of being a real estate investor is spending time getting to know people. And so we started our journey with Brian McMullen, who's Sub 2 and Gator and has lots of years in real estate background or insurance background, and some real estate back. And so he is connecting and doing loans, and that's where we started doing our first private money loans. And so we've started last year, January, right off the bat, loaning on a fix and flip in Indiana. So did that one. Whoop.
Oh, we can't hear you, Sharon.
And you, Sharon.
Oh, sorry, I forgot I muted because the dog was crashing through the door. So, Indiana, how'd you find that deal? Like, you're in Colorado, Indiana's farther away. Tell us about that journey.
That came through Brian McMullen. He put the deal together. And so there is a fix and flipper out there, Nicole, and she's done quite a few deals. She works with her dad, who was in construction. And so she's picking up in I think her little local area, quite a few houses. She was able to pick up a house. Purchase price was like $175,000 and needed $50,000 loan on it to get it rehabbed. And then she refis them out and then rents them out. So we did a loan on there. I put in that was our first loan, so $25,000, and wrangled up another person that put in the other money, and it was a pretty good deal. We were offered 15% flat fee on our loan, so it was supposed to be for about 4 months, and so pretty quick there. She did run over. But nice thing about there is we set up and had a daily late fee in there. And so we never good communication there with the flipper. Just took a little longer to get it all.
Did you say 15% for 4 months?
15% for 4 months.
And then you had a late fee after 4 months every day?
And then we had a late fee after 4 months.
So, what is that?
No idea. Monique, what did you get?
I don't know what I did. Sorry. The clapping. Good job.
Yep.
That was a great return. It deserves a round of applause.
Well, yeah, and then it came out because she was late. We actually got paid back. We were kept informed all the way through. That house actually overappraised. She had the refinancer. They had her go back, the lender, and have another appraisal done. And then come in with that fee. And then they didn't want to lend. She had to find the next lender. It just kind of was this little delay of a couple months. But we ended up doing in about I think it was like 6.5 months, we did about 34% money there.
That's amazing.
So yeah. And so
are you looking for more of those?
Looking for more. I may jump in, although right now we finally got paid back a little bit ago on it, and we're looking to get some modular homes going. And so I'm kind of holding off for the next few weeks to see if we're investing in our own projects. So
yeah. Can we go backwards a little bit? Because I always like to hear like what got you into real estate. Like you're a dentist.
I'm a dentist.
Woke up one day and
well, it's my husband has the background.
Okay.
My investment, I did start a little earlier because I bought my own practice 25 years ago. And that one was not so good. I was young and 20 something and no help. And I was told the dentist had health problems. Well, we get into the office and she was dealing drugs through the office.
Oh, wow.
Gosh.
Oh,
Did you inherit all of her clients? Were they like
I inherited the clients and half were good and half were there looking for prescriptions.
Wow.
And I became a very tough dentist. I don't prescribe much after experiencing that.
I imagine
It's like, oh, take some Advil. Take some Advil.
Yeah.
Colloidal
that was not what I thought it was. And then to make it even better, I had financed that one through a company that was temporarily keeping the office running. And they had fraudulent numbers they were really supposed to. So I went in and did background, audited charts, looked through things, and they were just not documenting anything. So all the numbers, like I had numbers that were given to me that were like 83% off.
Oh my gosh.
So my whole business plan was thrown out the door.
Live and learn.
Live and learn. So that's where, like, you know, I didn't really think of myself as an investor for many years, but I was. That is, you know, hopefully I'll be retiring someday in the next year, maybe. And that is part of the thing, is to sell off the businesses and bring in a nice.
And you had bought a second?
I bought a second office about a mile down the road from my first.
Okay.
Presumably after you stabilized the first one, correct?
After I stabilized about halfway through the 25 years, and I had a friend that was retiring and I was leasing in my spot. And so I bought his business. Now that one, we looked at the office and were moved in there with all the paperwork done. We used real estate attorneys and everything, like a month and a half.
Oh, wow, fast.
Yeah.
And nobody asked for drugs, right?
Nobody asked for drugs. It was a smooth deal. Yep. Yeah. So that was my start off. But no, my husband has he was a general contractor 25 years ago or so. Then he became a real estate appraiser, residential. And he's been an appraiser for about 23 years. He's had his real estate license during that time. And so that's been in the house with us. And we just finally, a couple of years ago, read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad and said,
you got the bug.
Yep. We, thought about it on and off through the years. I was ready to jump in and do it, but I think earlier maybe was a little leery too, because my first was so good.
Right. Yeah. It's funny you mentioned Rich Dad Poor Dad. I was just talking to a friend last night. She's 27, I think. And I didn't bring it up to her, but she just mentioned that she bought the game and has been playing it with her parents.
Oh, nice.
Did you ever play the game?
I have the game, both versions of it.
Yeah. How do you like it?
I think it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. It's also online too. You can play by yourself quickly online.
Oh, really? Okay. I've never
played know that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can go through a game in like 7 or 8 minutes if you're really quick. But it's kind of fun.
I'll check that out. Yeah. So you got the bug, and then
got the bug. We networked, got into our first deal. We did a second loan, the same connector, Brian McMullen, and actually ended up with the same flipper, Nicole, and lent in on another house of hers. That one was a little different. That was like an 1890s house that she got for like, I think under 25,000, but put 82,000, 85,000 into it.
What market is that
in Indiana.
Oh, okay.
And so that again was 15% flat rate on our money. That one was supposed to be I think about 5.5 months. And she ran late again on that one. So again, we came in at about 34% on our money.
Holy
on that.
Nice.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah. And it's like she's done enough and she's paid back all the loans that when it was running late, it wasn't like you hear the stories about people being ghosted, not taken back. It was just like, things are happening. It's running late. Yeah. It's just the way it is. Yeah. And I'm like, we had late fees again set up for it. So it's like our money's still making money.
Yeah.
I was never that nervous about it.
Yeah. Communication is key. I feel like I lend to, with my self-directed IRA to a couple guys in the Midwest, and they start a group chat with every house that they're working on because they usually have a couple investors, and occasionally they'll send pictures of what's going on at the house and give us updates in the group chat. So that's really fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's
nice. That's really nice to have, Kate. Really nice.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That may be something that I put in as I start getting deals going where I'm the connector. So
you can make it part of your contract.
So
makes the investor feel very comfortable when you have that communication going on.
Yeah. For sure.
Yes.
Have you ever done any other? Those are maybe more longer term for 4 or 5 month, 6 month terms. Have you ever done any short term like transactional or EMD lending?
I've done EMD. I've just done a little bit, and they haven't gone through. But I've done them, and like I did one right over Christmas, and it had to be in right before Christmas. Or no, they got it right before Christmas. I had to have it in right after we extended it. And so I ended up on that one because I knew the person, doing my own paperwork on that and funding it because I was very close to the person and connected to the project. So I'm like, I wouldn't recommend it for anybody, but I thought, well, we're almost in this deal. I'm very connected. So I'm like, let's fill out the paperwork without our transaction coordinator because I don't know if I'm going to get one on the 24th of December.
Yeah.
And have things ready like right after Christmas. So
yeah.
And that was paid back timely as well?
That one was, we ended up, the deal ended up canceling out during the inspection.
Okay.
So
in that situation, Susie, your money stayed in escrow the entire time.
It did. It
get
did.
out, so it kind of felt more like it was like put in a place where you didn't have to worry about it.
Yep. Yeah, it was.
But then did you get any interest or fees just for, letting it sit in escrow for a period of time?
That one I did not, because I was fairly connected into the deal. And if it did go through, we might have actually ended up further down the road partnering into another part of the deal.
Okay.
So I was kind of like, well, we'll see.
Yeah.
We partnered with this person on some of our other projects.
Mhm.
And so I'm like, I'll just get the EMD. We needed it quickly right around the Christmas holiday. I'm like, let me just do that. I'll get the paperwork in. I'll get it there. And then if it goes through inspection, we decided to get it, then we were going to maybe come in on the back end of the deal too and build prefab modular construction on a lot. So we'd be involved on that part. So it was kind of one of those, we knew a lot of what was going on there.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice. And so earlier you mentioned that you guys are getting into prefab modular type investing. Tell us a bit about that.
So yeah, that is Bob Greeley is my husband. And so he wanted to get back to his construction roots. And really, it's probably one of the more affordable ways to get a project built these days, especially in areas, Denver, the cost of building in the Denver metro area and up and down the Front Range of the mountains.
Mhm.
I think it's $250 to $350 a square foot to build stick frame. And you can get your foundation in, all your hookups in, and put on a prefab modular home at about the $150 a square foot price range. So quite a bit of savings. If you go in the mountains up by me, it's $350 to $700 a square foot to build right now up by us in the mountains.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
did you say the 150 per foot includes like all of the water hookups and permits and everything in slab, or that's
with the slabs, they're kind of like 80 to 100 without the slabs and all of the hookups and stuff. So it's really, for certain regions, it's quite affordable building.
Yeah.
So and we can do on those, we were looking at that lot, we were going to do a fourplex. If we're going to build on that lot, they do now 2 floors, 2 stories. You can do 2 stories. I think you can do up to about from 800 square foot building up to about 2,800 square feet.
For the modular homes, you're saying come that
the modular,
they come 2 stories. Oh, okay.
Yeah, now you can do 2 stories in them.
Really?
And once they're set to the foundation and attached, they're considered a stick frame build. So all of your lending and everything after that is considered a normal stick frame house.
Nice.
Versus a manufactured house, which is on the trailer.
Yeah. What's the name of that company? I want to look up some pictures of it.
Yeah, it's Skyline and Champion Homes.
Skyline.
They merged, I think, during last year.
Okay.
So
that's really,
yeah. Anybody's looking and contacting through me. I mean, I'm here with Bob, so.
So is that a nationwide company or local?
Nationwide company. They have, I think, 12 or 13 factories across the nation.
okay.
So
anybody really in the country could connect with them and have a modular home put on land.
Yes.
So would the best way be, Susie, to maybe call you or Bob, and you have a phone number or something that you would like to share to they can get personal conversation with you about this and get more detail? Maybe
sure. Yes. I mean, you contact me. I'm at 303-253-1237. That's my business cell. And I can connect anybody to Bob, get things going there. Also, the business email is Susie@creative propertycapital.com. And that's another good way to get a hold if anybody's looking for that. So,
Susie, are they the look of them? Are they like the really ultra modern looking modulars, or do they look more like the traditional style?
They have both styles. They have some of the modern ones. They have some of the traditional. You can they look like if you add in like a front porch and you can attach a garage to them, looks just like a normal house. If you add in,
so you add that in separately as a prefab piece of material, or you build that on top of that?
Normally you would build that, attach it. You'd set there and just add a front porch, or building out a garage is really quite simple, quick and easy to attach on. So
these pieces are shipped via a big truck.
Via big truck on a trailer, like you see coming down the road sometimes. Yep. And then they crane them in and put them together. They call it stitching the houses together.
Stitching. Interesting.
But they can also be, it's usually about 3 months from when you order it to get it out of the factory. And so you can have a house built kind of like almost in the 3.5 to 6 month range from start to finish.
Wow.
So
that's pretty quick.
Yeah.
And the square footage range?
Pardon me?
What's the square footage range?
800 square feet to 2,800 square feet.
Nice. And do people get like a new construction loan to get it done and set and whatever, and then refi into a long-term regular mortgage? She's nodding.
Yep. Yes.
Okay.
You can do that. So, yep. And then you can get some financing sometimes too for ordering. You can use the new construction loan. If you have trouble getting one of those, it's just depending on which lender you get, and there's different options. Sometimes too, it's just getting a little different loan for the house ordered from the factory, and they have some financing there too.
Does Skyline and Champion require that you use their lenders, or if I already had a lender that does my new construction loan and I wanted to use them and then just buy the product from them? You're nodding
yes,
again.
Yes, you could do that. You could do that. So
okay, cool.
And so in putting that together with, let's say, you and Bob, and if I were to buy a house or a prefab, does it come with all the bells and whistles, or do I need to order them separately, or do you help me pick those out and they have all of that to like specific things to choose from, or an array of things to like carpet color ranges?
They have an array of things to go through and pick out, kind of like as if you were building a new home, you'd go through and pick out. Yeah. They do kind of come with the countertops, and this is where you can customize them. They come, they do like the, not the granite ones. They don't want to ship the granites. They'll do
like
the Korean ones, and they'll ship those. Or you can do the less expensive, just the Formica, and use that as a template just to switch it out to granite or like that once the house is set. And that's just a inexpensive way. You already have then a template for them to use. And so you can do upgrades like that. So you can put in granite countertops or soapstone, whatever you want, upgrade kind of throughout there. But they have a bunch of fixtures that you can choose.
I would think that could be a great investment model. You know, I know a lot of people, rather than flipping homes, want to do new construction, but this may be even easier if you find the right market for it.
That's Denver's a good market because of the price difference. So we bought, that was last year too. We got a couple, I private money partnered into into both two properties. One, we were coming in to do a little update on a property. It's down south in Colorado. and it's 6 acres and it has an old house on it. And it was under a lease option purchase contract. But to get it to finance in for the person, we needed to do our partner needed to do some upgrades. So we partnered in there, but then we became 50% equity partners in the house. And it wasn't that big of an investment for us. So it was a pretty good deal. Mm-hmm. And that was doing good. It was under the lease option purchase. It was bringing in our 50%, like $600 a month, until he was able to buy it out. The only thing is that he up and walked out of his contract during the year. So, but when we kind of realized that I think it's A2 zone with multi-use and stuff, and it's 6 acres. So we have it rented. We're not making the big profit right now, but it's paying the bills. And we've been doing a feasibility study on all the different things on the 6 acres that we could do with it. Yeah. We could get a zoning variance and we might put in storage on it and build a storage facility down there.
Nice.
So that will be determined. It's actually interesting. It's kind of on a rural highway, and it's got a sign on it. So it brings in rent from a sign on the road, and
nice. Your hostess
thing that we have going on. So, but yeah, that property we've been looking. Storage is probably one of the big things. We could look at putting like another prefab modular house down there and working with that. But
how many does the zoning allow for?
How many? Just one right now, and we'd have to go look and see if we were going to change that. But I think with the storage, really, it's a great area and set up more storage. I think is probably our spec. So I'm excited to I've been wanting to get into storage.
Yeah,
so we may end up building.
Dabbling all over the place in different things. I love it. Do these types do these type of prefabs, do they come like duplex format or triplex or can you do that type of?
Yes, you can do up to, we were looking to put on a 4-plex earlier this year on a property.
Oh, wow.
So if I had a piece of land, let's say, and I was thinking about putting 4 plexes on this piece of land, would it be more advantageous to go that direction, maybe on a financial standpoint, because we're looking at, cost per square foot versus building, stick up from brand new?
Usually, I think in most areas, it depends on where you're building. But most areas, it is more cost advantage. It's a better deal to do the prefab modulars, and in a 4-plex. Also, too, your time that you're building, if you order them, you kind of almost have them up and going in, weeks to 2 to 5 weeks after setting them. You're up and ready to get them going.
And they have to be on a slab, or you can put them on a foundational type of environment?
You can put them they don't have to be on a slab. They can be on a basement. They can be on more of the foundation, like the pillar foundations. So you can set them in different ways. So
nice. And do you work with the site contractor to get that set up, or how does that?
It'd be working with the site contractor. We're more focused in on Colorado. So looking at other areas too, it's like, okay, what is the zoning? What are the building requirements? But coming through, we've looked at a couple other deals throughout, and we have a rep at Champion Skyline Homes, and he's connected throughout the country. So if we're looking somewhere else, it's like these guys have done so many homes there, and they have so many subcontractors or people to choose from and deal with.
So if I'm understanding, Skyline/Champion is kind of like a franchise, and you guys have a local franchise. Is that correct? Kind of.
We are a local distributor, wholesale dealer, distributor rep, but we can kind of go throughout, because we've had a few people call in different areas. We've talked about to somebody up in, I think Cincinnati, Ohio area.
Mhm.
And there's a factory there. We're much more familiar with the factory that is closest to us, but it's just making the calls, and we're connected to enough people in the company that if you end up in other areas. I talked to one of, he does a lot of construction background building, and he's a guy out of Kentucky. In Kentucky, I don't know about the factory that would be closest there. I know they have one in Tennessee, but his cost to build, and he's been doing it for years, and his crews, he's got it down. It's like he's about the same cost as prefab modular. And since he's already got his crews, it's like, well, that may not be good of a deal. But that's kind of, that one little area. When he was talking to what he builds there, his cost to build, I think he was at $60 to $80 a square foot in Kentucky that he builds at.
Yeah, wow. Appalachia's pretty low cost to build. So West Virginia, same. Kentucky, West Virginia, Tennessee, the Appalachian Plateau area, absolutely.
That is insane. I had no idea it was that cheap.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, even 20 years ago when I was living in Oregon, it was probably $100 a square foot.
You can buy a 6 bed, 4 bath, gorgeous house on the mountainside for like $30,000 in West Virginia.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Can you grow fruit trees there?
Yep. Come on, girl.
We may need a girl's getaway home.
Yeah, right?
I'm looking. Just saying. I'm looking.
That is crazy. Well, Susan, I want to go back to the self-storage. You mentioned a feasibility study, and I was very curious. Do you know what all is looked for in that study?
Yeah, what are you analyzing in a feasibility study?
It's basically looking at, and our partner does a lot of this, but it's looking at the cost of what it would be to put in to change the zoning. That one just needs a minor change to the zoning there if we were going to go storage. But it's how much would it cost to put it in? How many storage facilities are around there? What is their availability? Looking at
all around and see if they're full. Is that part of it?
There is storage bias. There's also an Amazon plant bias, and they have not had any openings or any availability for a long time in the storage facilities bias.
So there's definitely a need.
Yeah. So there is a need, and it's a good location and stuff. So that's kind of, that's I think where we're leaning at this moment, but we've been working on, I have one other project that we've been doing this year, which is interesting. So
is this the co-living, or is that something different?
That was the co-living one. We found a house in Denver with our partner and bought a house subject to the existing mortgage in Denver. And it was an older home. It's nice location. It's like 1.5 miles to 2 miles from 4 hospitals. And on a transit way that's going through, it's almost 100-year-old home, and it was a 2-bedroom, 1-bath home. So we took over that property, helped out the homeowner. He tried to flip the home, got in over his head, had no equity. So we were able to take it over. We put a little more money into it. We changed it into a 4-bedroom, 1-bath. And we've been renting that one out. And so that's all full. We've had a few little things with that. It's been an interesting.
Are you renting that out by the room or as a whole unit?
By the room. I'm renting it out by the room. We're renters in there. But the lot.
How's the 1 bathroom going with 4 bedrooms? I'm just asking because I love the co-living model, but I'm a 2-to-1, 4 bed, 2 bath, right?
They are doing good with it, and it's fine. And we got into that one more. So the lot is also set in Denver where we can put another structure on the lot. And it's big enough that we are putting a modular home. I think we're going to put in a 2,200 square foot modular home, 2-story, 6-bedroom, 3-bath.
Very
on
good.
on the same lot. So
yeah.
So right now the old house is paying to own the land and the house. It pays the bills there, and then we're getting the financing. We've been going through all the engineering on, there's when you have a lot, they kind of restrict how much square footage you can build on there. So it's like picking out a floor plan that fits on the amount of square footage that we have left to build on the lot. But it's still a fairly good size footprint. So it'll be just over 1,000 square foot on each floor. So
nice.
Yeah, what a great way to do co-living. You just
so we'll have them. And those will be brand new, so we'll be able to get even a little better deal there. So that's awesome. It's good neighborhood. It's kind of coming around. It's an old neighborhood, but it's just being kind of flipped a lot. Lots of new people moving in there, especially with like all the hospitals and everything else they offer in that area. So
is Denver a market that has a pretty big need for co-living?
Yes. Yeah. There's I
think any major city, right? If you think about it
right now,
pretty close. Affordability
is a huge issue. Yeah.
Yes. People can't afford to do much. I mean, it's expensive out in Denver. It's not California or New York, but
close enough. And when you're a single person, like trying to find a unit all to yourself, a 1 or 2 bedroom apartment, it's few and far between that it's even remotely close to affordable. So it only makes sense to rent a co-living space,
Yeah, it does. Yeah. And our roommates seem to get along. We get good responses from all of them. And
are you managing it and placing the tenants yourself?
My partner manages and places the tenants. We get to kind of see some of them before he puts them in and some of the stuff.
Did you just put it up on Zillow then for rent, or how did you find them?
He's got it on all of the different Zillow.
Are they furnished or not?
Finders, Craigslist,
roommates or roomster, that type of thing.
Yep, he lists it there, and then he it's kind of interesting because it's funny. We've had some ones that we had to laugh at. People kind of applying. He stalks them on social media.
Heck yeah, I'm sorry, but in this day and age, you got to know the quality of person, especially in a co-living situation, because if you put the wrong person in there, you're endangering the rest of the tenants as well. And so I think as a responsible landlord for co-living, you have to do that type of thing.
I agree with you. I agree with you totally. Our partner too, he's got another house that he does co-living, and he's got 2 older senior guys in there.
Nice.
And he goes and he's trying to rent out the next room. And it's like some young blonde 22-year-old. And he's like, no, you can't go in that house. And the guys are like, we'll take her. Like, no, we're not going to have her come in and stir up a lot of trouble.
I think that you can do that. And I think that's smart too, is to just single gender housing, because the last thing you need is that type of conflict,
Yeah. It's an interesting thing learning all of the co-living, especially if you manage them yourself. We we could have used Pad Split. They just came to Denver this summer. But they do take a little portion.
Yeah.
Front.
Little is an understatement. Yeah. And honestly, like if you know proper property management, it's really no different, right? It's room by room versus entire unit. It's not much different. So there's no reason to, call in some other, company that's going to take this huge cut of your profit, and especially if maintenance and upkeep is on you, they're not going to pay when the HVAC goes out, right? So you need that monthly delta to put into a war chest for the capital X expenditures that people aren't thinking about, right? They think that, oh, we're making, $4, $5, $6, $800 a month. That's just probably, you're just living large. No. If the HVAC goes out, that's, 10, 12, 14 grand. I need to have that in my war chest to be able to on the spot fix it, or my tenants are not going to be happy about me, So yeah.
That is. And I agree. It's like, it saves that extra, I think, until you get enough properties. I think once you get enough properties going, then you may want to bring in somebody to help out. But I think early on, if you can manage it yourself, it does get you ahead.
And realistically, in today's day and age, especially with AI and technology, there's so many things that you can utilize that's going to help you out, like digital locks that you can change remotely. Same with digital thermostats that you can change remotely. There's so many ways with smart homes and whatnot today that you can manage that house from across the country and have no problems at all. I have a friend that has rentals down in Kissimmee and Orlando, and they do short-term / midterm rentals, and the tenants would never know that they aren't around the corner, but they're up here in Virginia Beach. But because it's all remote, it's all online, it's all automated, it's all easily accessed with Wi-Fi and online, and they have their cleaners and a maintenance person local that they have contracts with. So if there's something that needs to happen, they just call those guys to shoot on over, right? But most of it, management is done right up here down the road. And you'd never know, but that's the beauty of technology.
It is. It makes it much easier. You said the thermostat. We, I think they put the thermostat in and put a plastic cover screwed in on it and painted over that too, so they don't even see what it's set at.
Yeah.
And so
exactly. Yeah. There's like there's different display screens that you can put up there, and they'll never know what you've got it set at. John has an interesting point, and I'd love to hear what all you ladies have to say about that. He says, that's been my concern with co-living. How do you get complete strangers comfortable with living under the same roof? Imagine walking out of your bedroom and the neighbors are sitting on the living room couch. Let me speak to that first. John, when you were in college, didn't you ever go live in the frat house with all the guys and you all had your own rooms, but then you hung out in the living room? That's the same idea. Right? We're just older frat kids, you know what I mean? I mean, seriously, like after a while, you're just used to, living with other people, right? You do private stuff in your bedroom, and the kitchen and living room is public area, and you just get accustomed to it, What do you ladies think? What do you do? How do you get people comfortable?
I think it's that, and it's a lot of, I think, especially the youngers. I'm not sure about like our partner with the seniors, but they all have TVs in their own room. There's a TV in the living room and the kitchen. And so some of them would pass. We had pass kind of coming and going and a little bit of talking, but it seems like a lot of them, they're out working and they're hanging out kind of in their own space.
Yeah. And I think to some extent, especially in my opinion, the older, the senior, that don't necessarily need to be in assisted or nursing type living, but the companionship, like once your spouse has passed, but you're still an active adult, whatever, it's just nice to have. It's like another family, it's your roommates versus your, spouse or kids or whatever, So That's another.
That's what I was thinking. Oh, go ahead.
Okay.
Oh, I was just thinking that I always hear of these co-living houses where people literally just stay in their bedroom and they don't really mingle with the house. But I would think that it would be better to create an environment where people are comfortable and know each other and aren't just hanging out in their bedroom the entire time when they're, when they're at home, when they're not away at work or wherever. Because
I would agree with you. Yeah. I mean, I go back to college and I had roommates and we all became friends and hung out. We're still friends.
Yeah.
I think you do get you get different people and different personalities, but it comes down to you being able to work together in any situation and having friends. And you do have your own space that you can go away and you can be alone, but yet you have companions that you can depend on to help with, like, oh, I broke down the road. I'm 2 minutes down the road. Can you come grab me to come back to the house? That sort of thing. It begins to grow into that as you get to know each other and you become just
you build
really
a small community.
You build your own little community within. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I totally agree with you, Monique. And, I think that there's also the type of person that chooses to rent a co-living space is thinking that mindset already. They're either thinking, I know I'm only staying in my room the whole time and just passing through the kitchen and living room, or they're thinking, hey, this is a new family for me to join. Mm-hmm. This is a new community for me, a small community for me to join, right? And so they know they're entering a shared living space. Yeah. And so they're already in that mindset. So how do you get them comfortable? Well, they're already there.
They're not getting surprised by their neighbors sneaking in.
Yep. We had one of our she was a nurse and she got sick this winter, COVID or pneumonia and stuff like that. And one of the other roommates worked in a restaurant and she's just kind of quarantined and came out as little as possible.
Uh-oh. She's frozen on my screen.
She froze.
Yep, she froze. That's okay. Yeah, I mean, I really think that it just comes naturally to if you're seeking that type of an arrangement, you know what you're getting into in the first place, right?
Well, and some people do it purely for affordability, though, right? And maybe they're a very introverted, shy person and uncomfortable in that situation, but that's all they can afford.
So right. Well, and it might not be even affordability per se, but like choice, Golden Girls, as I was saying, right? Maybe that's what they want to do. And there's a point where that level of community is something that you desire, but you don't want to be in nursing care, or you don't want to be in a like a townhouse community or whatever, And
if you want to be alone, you still have your room, your TV. You can put a small refrigerator in there too, and you can have your own space. If you have long hours at work and you just want to have a place to go and sleep and not have to pay an abundant amount of rent for something that isn't going to be utilized anyways, you got that option too.
Yeah, but I also think that as house, the landlord, the house manager, that having SOPs in place, having house rules, and having protocols for maybe tenants that are breaking those rules. Like if you have tenants that are working long hours, maybe having those noise ordinances, for lack of a better word, noise rules. And if you come across a tenant that isn't abiding, isn't, respectful of their roommates, you can get them out. Right. And that type of a thing, I think as a responsible landlord for co-living, that's, the right thing to be doing is to, here's your rules, stick by them.
And there's ways to construct the contract so that it's not about evicting them and going through the whole process as much as it is about being a member of this particular household.
Well, is that true in every state? Like in
Yep.
in Colorado, would it be pretty easy to evict somebody who was disrupting the house?
For ours, we have them a little bit more short-term rental, and so it's much easier to get somebody out.
Yeah.
Because it's not an eviction, it's a removal, right? You broke
Yes.
here's the rules of your stay, of your guest stay. And if you break those rules, there is no eviction because you're not a tenant, you're a guest.
Right.
Right.
But
Yes.
that's limited to 30-day rentals, right? Or no?
It can be, it depends state to state, but then you can also do your term is only 30 days and renews every 30 days or whatever.
Then for long-term tenants on co-living, are they relatively easy to evict if needed? If they're signing a year contract, or are people just not doing year contracts?
Monique, Susie, I bet you
We are not.
that.
We don't have a year contract going on. We have some of them going. Some are going bi-weekly. Some are going month to month. They've been in there for a while, but I think we have one 6-month contract. But the others have been, a little bit more month by month. But they got in and they seem pretty happy, so
Yeah.
they just keep staying.
I think really, Kate, it comes down to how you write the contract with them, the lease. If you're going to do a long-term lease, then yes, you're probably right. You're going to need to evict them. So if that's what you choose to do as a landlord, then you then expect to have that kind of an eviction if it ever came down to that. How often do you run into an eviction? I mean, I've been a landlord for many, 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 many years, and I can count on one hand the amount of evictions I've had to take care of, and only one of them I think actually went into court. So it's just a matter of putting your contract together in a manner that fits for that kind of a rental, or if you choose the other, then just know that you're going to be dealing with evictions potentially if it gets to that.
Yeah.
Yep.
But that's part of buying real estate, too, and investing in real estate and getting in that world.
Yep.
Yeah,
It
for
is.
sure.
It's also
For
nice
sure. I
with
was
the
just thinking
co-living.
I like the 30-day thing that you're doing, Susie.
Or 2 week.
With the
Do every 2 weeks.
Yeah. With the co-living too, they kind of keep each other in check on that too. And like we were down in the house. Really, the house was in good shape, clean. They kind of all, because they're sharing the space, so they all keep it up. So
That's good. I think that's important too, is to have tenants that keep each other accountable. Like, hey, you're screwing it up for the rest of us, dude. So, suck it up, get with it,
And having the house book, the rules, the SOPs, having an actual book, it's all mapped out and laid out for them. Then it's always easy to say, hey, look at the book, and then you can follow that concept and go back to that. So there's no discrepancies between them. They don't have to, oh, he said, she said type of thing. Nope, this is the way it is. We're all going to follow this. This is what we signed up for. We know what we're getting to before we come and move into the house.
Yeah. Well, we're down to about 6 more minutes. And Susie, I'm curious if or what your plans are for the future. Do you have different goals, bigger goals, or taking it day by day?
We are looking for more land, mostly in Colorado right now, land that can be developed. It can be a single family lot or a multi-family lot, or like we were just looking, we were trying to get under contract a 5-lot plot. It'd be 5 duplexes. If I say that right.
Wait, a 5-lot plot?
So it was 5 lots together, and they were all zoned, I think, R2, so you can do duplexes on each of them. That one
Very cool.
could not negotiate into the deal, so I think that fell through. But we just keep looking for more more lots that we can go in and develop.
Mainly
if
for
anybody's interested in the.
Are you looking for lots mainly for the pre-sub? Yeah.
And
yeah, we'd like to develop more of the pre.
You're breaking up so bad, Susie, but don't you also don't you head up a meetup over there in Colorado that people might be interested in participating?
We do. Yes, I'm co-host in the Sub 2 meetup. We'll have on Saturday here at 4 p.m. The Monkey Barrel in Denver. And then the next weekend I co-host the Gator meetup. We do Gator lending meetup. And that one's in Littleton in Colorado at the 303 Sports Bar. That one is at 4 o'clock the next Saturday. So
would that be something that people could go to invest with you, to maybe help invest? Like they had money they wanted to invest?
To help invest. Yep, it's good networking. We have a group, so loans come in, kind of connecting and building the group. So you don't always have to come up with all of the money for a deal yourself. A lot of us will kind of group together and pitch in on a loan to get it to raise the money. So that's a nice way, and that's where the local networking kind of helps. We've got I think 300 or 400 people in a lending chat on Facebook that we have that's just local.
Wow! So
that we run through.
This is where people
and
could
then
really...
yes, and then I also co-host with Jose Cortez and Mitch Zonnefield. We have the Colorado Gator Congregation YouTube channel. And it's still kind of new, but we brought in tax strategy specialist, Ian Lottie. We've had him on. We haven't published, but we've done, it's very similar to infinite banking with the whole life insurance. We brought in a special there because that's an insurance thing. We can't release it out, but we host these Zooms to our local community. And as we get it more going, we'll probably expand it out to anybody else who wants to come in and listen. I'm bringing in a woman who owns her own title company here in Colorado. I've done deals with her, and she's going to be a guest on that one. I have a hard money lender or a lender that I'm going to bring in. He's done some of our lending deals, and have him talk to our community. And then I have another guy that does card stacking, the credit card, raising your business credit. And he's bought a whole property off of credit cards at like $700,000 by stacking.
Wow. That's impressive.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna bring, his name is Shaq, and we're gonna bring Shaq in hopefully this month and have him
We need to
do
see that one, Susie. We need to be in that one.
Maybe we'll post that one in and get in a bigger group than what the normal. So, but yeah, no, I've been waiting more of the basics of how he works all the credit.
Yeah, I'd like to hear that story.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully I'll get him scheduled this month, and I'll put it out there.
That sounds good.
Awesome. We'd love to hear it. All right. Well, we are at the top of the hour. So I'm going to say, Susie, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah,
this has been so valuable and such a fun conversation for me, and I'm sure the other ladies. So thank you so much. Definitely keep us informed about that other one. And good night, YouTube land. See you next week.